in today's start, maybe not quite the control you've had in some of the other ones, but really battled. And, Coach talked about, just it's got to be fun for these guys to play defense behind you because, it's the ball's in play, they've got a chance to make plays. And you were able to make the pitches when you had to, and the guys behind you made the plays.
Yeah. Going off of that, obviously not the best control I've had. It's a little frustrating, right? So I heard Sean told me that it was like 6 walks. It's like a stab to the heart, right? Especially because I've been working on it. But at the same time, like with a lineup as good as UNC, being effectively wild in a way is almost an advantage, right? So while you might look at my stat line and be like, yeah, he did a great job at the walks, I personally, every time I got in a 3-ball count or a 3-2 count and let the guy on base, it was never an oh shoot moment. It was like, okay, I'm just going to be able to get attack here. They're a big take team, right? So I was able, after those walks, to get ahead and kind of minimize the damage they could have done. And, just mixing in on pitches, having Coach Williams call the pitches for you and make your day a little bit easier helps a lot too. So definitely not the best control, but at the same time, we'll be better next week. That's the whole goal. So just learn from this, a little colder. But once it gets back to the 70 degrees, I'm sure that command is going to be right back.
Now, in the second inning, I think there had been a couple walks, and you did get a mound visit out there, and that kind of seemed to be the turning point in your outing, to be honest. Like, it just seemed like you were able to lock it in just a little bit better after that. Would you share anything that he said to you out on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, when people try to talk to me when I'm in the zone or in that way, it's really hard for me to like lock in. But when Coach Williams comes out there and tells me what's going on, like, it's an easy time to focus. And so in that second inning, had a good first, came out the second. Cold, didn't necessarily do a great job in between innings at keeping the body warm. It was a little bit of a longer inning, so just trying to work through it. But yeah, after that, it was just like, this is your time to lock in. Your team is counting on you, like, go on the attack, right? No fear. And so from the second inning on, knew that, my preparation in between that inning wasn't as good as it could have been. So changed what I was doing in between innings, got me ready for the next 5, 6.
When you're able to flip the ball to Wyatt and he comes in, I noticed when he finishes that inning strong, you're the first one. I mean, out greeting him and pumped up. I mean, how fun is it to see some of these young guys just really step into their roles behind you and be able to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, I think, in Arizona after the game, like the buy-in that all the younger guys have and the older guys being able to help them out. Coach Mack has been preaching it for the last 3 weeks. It's the idea of no data, right? So finding happiness in other people's success. Everyone's bought in on that. Whether you've been competing with the same role from a guy for months on end to now we're in ACC conference play and we're trying to win a championship. So seeing a guy like Wyatt have that success, whether there was a guy on third and second, like, I could have cared less if those guys had scored. It was more about just having that guy in that game and have that moment, which he's been locked down in for the last month. Like, I had no fear, and then when he got out of that inning, it's like, of course, I'm gonna be as fired up as I possibly can. I was more fired up when he came off the mound than I think I came off the mound a couple times that inning. So,
we had talked earlier about ACC play. These are the type of games that you were excited for coming here and get to be in this spot. A little nerves today because of that, or were you able to just lock in and know that your stuff is good enough here?
Yeah, I mean, again, the mental battle the last 2 years for me has been the hardest thing, right? My dad calls it mental warfare. You have to be able to fight through it. And the last 2 years, it's like, to be honest, the mental side had been a crutch for me and not something I was able to maintain. But with a process that I trust, a coaching staff that has uber faith in me, the mental side and the preparation and the hardships that I've had to go through turned me into a player that, I'm proud to say I am. So, again, like, you have nerves, it's a really good lineup. It's a top 6 team in the country. But at the same time, a hitter's a hitter when you're on the mound and compete mode starts. You can have all those thoughts, but the minute you have that mound, the ball's in your hands, like, you're playing for your team, you're not playing for yourself. So I was trying to do everything, and again, you go back to the 6 walks, like, selfishly, yeah, that sucks, but at the same time, like, we threw up a bunch of zeros, and we won a big series, right? And so that's huge. So yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.